Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to 26 essential tips for a road trip across the US. Now this is highly relevant for me because I'm planning on doing one of these in around March or April. And there's just, so many things to consider. America's a huge country with, 50 states that have been described as almost like 50 different countries. And as someone who, has never done this sort of thing before, I need pretty much all the advice I can get. So this video was recommended to me quite a few times in the do's and don'ts of visiting the US. So I'm hoping it's gonna have some real nuggets of information for me. So let's do it.
How distracting are these hands, really? Maybe I just have really tiny hands. There's nothing wrong with that. We have road tripped all over the world, so we're kind of experts when it comes to road trip efficiency and having fun on the road.
So in this video, we're gonna break it down into 4 sections.
That's 5.
That's 5, but you get it. We're gonna talk about how to be fuel efficient when you drive. We're gonna talk about where to stay for cheap or for free. We're gonna talk about safety for yourself and the vehicle. And we're gonna talk about staying entertained on this road trip, which is perfect because we've partnered with Mattel, who's sponsoring this video, to help create this tip video for you.
We decided to wear these throughout almost the entire video because really it's hilarious.
Your hands are backwards. Your thumbs are on the inside.
Oh no. There we go. There we go. Saving fuel.
Driving at 90 kilometers an hour is the optimal speed for fuel consumption. If you drive at 120 kilometers an hour, for example, you'll burn through your fuel 25% faster.
If it's a hot day and you need to use AC because
I had no idea. So 55 miles an hour is the optimal speed of travel for conserving fuel. I'll definitely try and remember that.
Who wants to sweat during a road trip? It's not enjoyable. If you're going fast, so if you're driving on the highway, you want to turn on the AC and put up those windows. You're gonna be way more aerodynamic. But if you are driving slower, turn off that AC, put down the windows because it's gonna be way more fuel efficient.
Reduce your weight. Any extra pound is just gonna waste more fuel. I highly recommend to completely empty out the entire vehicle, empty the trunk, look under the seats, get rid of all unnecessary weight, and only bring the things that you need. A little insider tip: if you really want to save fuel, then only fill your tank halfway, because fuel weighs a lot. So if you only fill your tank halfway, that could be 50, 100 pounds that your car isn't carrying around. But you will have to fill your tanks more often.
What?
That, I don't know, that one makes sense, but if you need to stop, find a gas station, if you can't find one, or if you run out of fuel before you can find a gas station, then what? I would hate to be like stranded at night somewhere that I don't know or don't recognize, can't find a gas station, there's no one around. Man.
If you're going on a road trip with friends or family and all of you have a vehicle, you're gonna wanna choose a vehicle that is most fuel efficient. So those manuals that come with the car that are like in the glove box that no one reads? Well, take that out, read it, see which one is the most fuel efficient amongst you guys and take that. So if you have a truck, a sedan, you're gonna wanna go with the sedan.
Keep your tires pumped up. It's not just unsafe to drive with low tire pressure, it's a complete waste of fuel. Think about when you were a kid and you rode a bike. If your tires are pumped up, you can fly.
Entertainment. You want to have games when you're on a road trip, especially if you're driving for hours at a time. To have fun, you need to have games. And also when you stop somewhere on the side of the road, it's nice to have games to play.
Word games are great to play while you're driving, but when you're stopped for the night, you're gonna wanna play some more interactive games.
I'm imagining myself if I'm like driving alone, which I will be for lengthy periods, playing a game with myself. like asking myself questions like, so Kabir, where was the first city that you lived in? Are there even games you can play alone, apart from obviously video games, but you can't really do that while you're driving? So yeah, I need to think of some games then.
Games or hands-on games. Like Pictionary. Pictionary is one of my favorite games because all you need is a piece of paper and a pencil, and you can have hours of fun with this. These are the cards that come with Pictionary.
I don't know why they're persisting with these hands. I mean, I would have stopped like 5 minutes ago.
And they have categories on them and things that you have to try and draw. These are the cards that you can draw on with.
Come on, Picasso, you got this. Some classic games are Apples to Apples. And another favorite, Uno. Some more difficult.
Played Uno, never played Apples to Apples.
What's so great about them is you're only playing with cards. There's no little pieces that are gonna fall in between the seats and get lost. Just a stack of cards. These games are great to play if you are stopped somewhere. Say you're having lunch or you stop for the night, or if there's a few of you in the back seat and you want to have some fun. Uno, Apples to Apples. I'm gonna try to deal some cards. Okay, wait. I believe. Slow and steady.
Nice.
Yeah! And then one for me.
While these hands are entertaining, they're actually from a Mattel game.
Jumper cables, you are absolutely gonna need to have these in your car because if your battery dies, you're gonna need them. Or if someone else's battery dies, you can help them out.
Tire jack and spare tire. First of all, make sure that your car has a spare tire, make sure that it works, and make sure that it's inflated. Also make sure that you know how to change a car tire.
Yeah, I really need to learn some quick car repair type things. There's probably a few YouTube videos that I could just watch, but yeah, I literally, I can't think of anything I can do with a car apart from drive it.
That you have a jack to jack up your car, and you have a tool to remove your tire.
A tire pressure gauge and a pump. You're gonna want the two of them so that you can check your tires to see if you need to pump them, and if you do, you'll have a pump on you. And you're gonna want one that you can plug into a cigarette outlet, or if you actually have a socket in your car, you can plug it into that as well.
Make sure that you check all of your tires and all of your brakes before your road trip. You don't want to run into any issues while you're on the road.
A first aid kit. I feel like not many people have these in their car, and I think it's something important to put in your car if you don't have one. Say you are hiking somewhere and you're far away from the closest town, you cut yourself, then you'll have something in your first aid kit to help you, a Band-Aid, Polysporin, something to wrap up.
It's always smart to have some basic tools when you're on a road trip. So make sure you have a screwdriver, you have a wrench, you have socket wrench set, you have pliers, gloves, even like a lamp, so if you have to fix something at night that you're able to see, like a headlamp is so handy.
Paper maps. Have you ever heard of them? They're like these pieces of paper that show you where you are and where you're going.
It's crazy. Ever since like Google Maps and Apple Maps and sat navs, like, I remember like when I was a kid, my dad used to have one of those big A to Z maps, and that's how he would like plot certain journeys. It's almost unthinkable now having to use one of those. You know, technology has just made things so much easier.
I don't know, these days everyone uses their GPS, but if you're somewhere where you don't have a signal, or your phone dies, or your GPS signal fails somehow, you have your paper map to use. And if you don't know how to use one, start figuring it out now before you leave for that road trip.
Having an emergency kit for your vehicle is a smart thing to have, because if a light blows or a tire blows, you get a nail in there and you are far away and you don't want to call a tow truck because tow trucks can be very expensive. It's just good to have a little kit. They're small little kits and they can really save you if you get into trouble on the road.
Getting an oil change before you leave. You want to do this. Most cars need one every 5,000 kilometers. So even if you're on the road trip and you need to get an oil change, go and do it because it's gonna save your car's engine.
I would highly recommend giving your vehicle a tune-up before hitting the road. You never know if something needs to be replaced, and you don't want to spend like half a day at a repair shop when you're on the road. Just make sure you get everything looked at, all your fluid levels are topped up, everything is checked before going on your road trip.
Places to stay for either cheap or free. Sleeping in your car. If you're up for it, why not? It's gonna save you money. And there are places like truck stops or parking lots that you can stay in for absolutely free. Another great thing about a truck stop, especially if you're on a...
But if you're in like a car that the seat can't go back all the way, but then again, that wouldn't be too bad. I think the main thing would be staying warm. Like if your car, if you're in a really cold state or even a really hot state, just finding that zone where you can, fall asleep and it's a decent temperature in the car and it stays that way throughout the night. I wonder if that would be quite tricky.
A road trip that's taking several days and you haven't had a chance to shower yet, you can do so at a truck stop.
Stay with friends when you're on the road. Stay with friends of friends. Stay with friends of friends of friends. But just make sure you call them first.
Stay with locals. Websites like Couchsurfing, Be Welcome, Global Freeloaders are all great resources for free accommodations. They offer their houses, their couches, sometimes even a bed for you to stay in for free.
If you bring a tent when you're on your road trip and you want to do some camping, there's tons of campgrounds all over Canada and the US, all over the world. You can go camping. You can also use websites like Boondockers Welcome, Allstay, or Harvest Host. You just sign up and you can find places to stay for free.
And using points. There are credit cards that you can sign up for and you can get free hotel stays just by signing up. Also with these reward cards, when you spend money on everyday things like groceries or gas, you accumulate points that you can use towards hotel stays. We hope that this video helps you for planning and inspires you for
really useful tips there. Like the number one thing for me is probably learning how to do certain things with your car, like replacing tires, learning how to jump start a battery, things like that I just don't know how to do. It could just save a ton of money and just a ton of time waiting for someone to come find you in the US, which is so huge, could be anywhere. Yeah, definitely gonna make that a priority in the new year, just learn how to do some stuff with my car. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.